In this video, what we're going to do is we are going to combine our use of the date object with our new information about arrays that will allow us to determine days of the week, actually write the word Monday if it's Monday, write out the word July if it's July, and actually make our dates a little bit more user-friendly. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a couple of date objects, and we're going to set up a couple of arrays, and we're going to use those to just do a couple of different examples. So I'm going to go ahead and var today is again, and we're going to set that equal to new date, which will retrieve today's date. Let's go ahead and set up the birthday again. And let's set that equal to a new date. And go ahead and fill in my birthday again. August 6th, 1971. And let's go ahead and set up two arrays. One array is going to contain the days of the week, and a second is going to contain the names of the months. Now I've pre-typed these and I'm just going to paste them in so you don't have to watch me type all of these, but just know that you're setting up the name of the array as an array, and then you're going to feed it in the days of the week. And it looks like I've missed some quotes along the way, so I can just correct that real quick. So Sunday's going into the 0th spot, Saturday's going in the 6th spot of day names, and then here in the months we'll have the same thing. January is going into the 0th spot, and December is going into the 11th spot. So we're going to just do a couple of examples where we retrieve the month and the day and we write out those things using our array, and then also I'll figure out what day of the week I was born. Alright, so let me go ahead and put some semicolons on the ends of those two that I just pasted in. And let's go ahead and get, oh, not semicolons, I don't know what I'm doing. I thought I was setting up those manually. Take those semicolons off because we're setting up new arrays. Alright, so let's go ahead and set up a variable, and let's say today name is going to be equal to today is dot get day. Now remember, this is going to retrieve a value from 0 to 6 that corresponds or will correspond to our array. And let's do the same thing with month. Let's say var today month is going to be equal to today is dot get month. Now remember, that one is also going to retrieve a number from 0 to 11, which will allow us to retrieve the correct thing. So we've retrieved the index for our array. So now all we have to do is go into the array and pull out the appropriate word. And so we're going to go ahead and just document.write today is, and we are going to retrieve, so we're going to spell it out. We're going to say today is July 28th, 2014. So we're going to say go into the array named month names, and I want you to retrieve what is stored in the today month slot. Remember, our array is named month names. We've retrieved the number from 0 to 11 that corresponds with today's month, and it'll go in there and find it according to this variable. So today is, so that'll say January or July. So we're going to concatenate on the date. So we're just going to say, excuse me, today is dot get date, because we're getting the date. So it's going to say July 28th plus, we need to add in a comma because we usually say July 28th, comma, plus today is .get full year. Now notice I can actually, instead of storing these in variables, if I'm just going to use them once, it might be easier for me to just go ahead and do them that way. I need some parentheses here, and I need some parentheses here, because those are methods. All right. Now if I wanted to add the day of the month, I could go ahead and add that in here. I'm sorry, the day of the week. If I wanted to say that today is Monday, July 28th, I could type in day names, go into there and find what's in the today name spot, add a comma, and then add the month. So it's going to say today is Monday, July 28th, 2014. Let's take, it looks like I have an error somewhere. I bet I forgot to close my parentheses on the end of the document.write. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and see through all of that code we get our statement. Today is Monday, July 28th, 2014. Now notice those commas don't have spaces like we would want, so that's easily fixed. We go back in, we put a space in after the comma to make it look like we want it to look. So that's how you write out what seems like a very easy thing. We need to concatenate a space in there also. Seems like a very easy thing to do, but it's actually a fairly complex thing. Let's go ahead and do, let me go ahead and just get rid of that code that we did and just do one more thing. Let's figure out what day of the year, I'm sorry, day of the week I was born on. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a variable called myDay, and that's going to be equal to bday.getDay. So that returns what day of the week from 0 to 6 that August 1971 fell on. Again, very impressive that it can figure out that using the math. That'd be very difficult for us to do. And so then all we have to do is document.write I was born on a, and we add in, we tell it to go into the day names array and retrieve what is stored in the myDay slot. So we preview that, and it tells us that I was born on a Friday, which happens to be true. So again, that was just one last example of how you can combine these two different date and array objects to make your pages a little bit more user-friendly. What we've done to this point is give you just enough information in JavaScript to get you started. There is a lot more to be learned. If you're interested, there are tons of tutorials out on the web, and there are some good textbooks. If you're interested, just send me an email and I'll help you find something.